Okay, so now that we have figured out the jump ESP address, and also we are able to redirect our EIP to this jump ESP address by writing this instruction in this code, it's the perfect time to send our shell code. So how we are going to do is we are going to create a shell code, and instead of sending 1000 of C, we will be sending our shell code there. So to generate the shell code, we will be using MSF Venom. So I will type MSF VENOM Venom, right? So you can also use different payload. So I will use the directly the bind shell payload here. So I will say -p windows, then shell underscore bind underscore TCP, right? Then I will say -fc -ax86. Then I will say don't contain this bad character, so -b. So we don't want this bad character that we have identified to be present in our shell code like 0009 and 0D. So I have to use -b and then type /x00/x 0D and /x09. Now I just want to add a variable output shell code. Now this command will generate the shell code which will give us the bind shell connection to our Windows system. By default it take port number 4444. So we will see how we can place this particular shell code which I generated now. So instead of sending 1000 of C, we will be sending this particular shell code. So let me go ahead and copy M. So I have just selected it, right click and copy. Right. So now let's go here and make a variable. Let's say I'm making this variable as shell code, right? And I will say put them inside this bracket. Perfect. So now our shell code is ready, which doesn't contain this bad character, right? And instead of sending C, we'll be sending our shell code. Now another important, let me write it first, then I will explain you. Now another important part here is your nopes. So sometimes what happen basically is whenever you wanna transfer your instruction control to the shell code, it needs some time to get executed inside your CPU. So what we have to do is like we have to use some of the nopes character, that is your slash, sorry, I will type here /x90, right? And I will say use, let's say 30 of nopes, right? So 30 nopes. So what the nopes will do basically, it will instruct the CPU that do not perform any action and pass through the execution control to the next instruction, right? To next instruction mean our shell code, right? So it is important to place some of the nopes also, because it will simply tell the CPU to not perform any other action. So you can put a buffer of 20 to 30 directly so that your shell code executes smoothly. Now there is another important factor is like you could see the payload size is 355 bytes. Now there are some of the restriction where you will have like not sufficient space to put shell code, but that will be your advanced technique how you can like run a shell code. Especially let's say there is payload size available for us is 200 bytes and you want to run at 355 bytes. So this, in that case, it will be not possible to run the shell code, right? So there is a different technique that is used if you have restricted to a size. But in this case we can sufficiently provide 1000 C, so we can also easily provide 355 bytes. Also we can add some nopes to run the shell code. Now let's go ahead and save this program and we will just simply exit out of it. Now let's go ahead and let me restart this program. I'll just close it. This is the final part, so I'm quite excited to see whether I get the shell code or not. So I'll go ahead, file and attach this minishare.exe. I will just expand it. So by default it is in post state. I'll play it so that our minishare runs successfully. Okay, so I will say okay. Now cool. So now minishare program is running. Now if everything is good, then our program should give us the reverse shell and it should run smooth successfully in the stack memory. Now we have sent this payload and you can see our minishare is still running successfully. You could see here also, right? So that means our shell is now our stack is now running our shell code. So I can simply type netcat -nv, sorry, nv 192.168, or I can directly type netcat and 192 168.233.129, and I want to listen on port number 4444. Great. So now we have received our reverse shell back, or the bind shell communication that we have opened via port number 4444. Right? I can type who am I. This will say this is the specific user. So this is the way you can simply perform an buffer flow attack in a remote vulnerable system. So this is the way we have generated the payload. Now next what we will do is like suppose you identified that some Windows 7 system is running this particular exploit, then you can directly go ahead and run this payload, which will give you the shell or reverse shell back or remote code execution or remote buffer overflow. Right, I hope you would have learned the buffer overflow technique. Now there is a good part. I'll be sharing the each step by step that we have done here with explanation in a PDF file, which will be available for you. You can download it and later reuse it or later learn from it, because while during demo you could have noticed like this is a very small frame. I'm not sure everybody is able to see everything clearly, so I have gone ahead and created a PDF file of it also, so you can learn it better, right? So thanks for watching.